Ooh, that was a fun sound. Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Songs That Changed My Life. This is episode, I don't even know when, but we are in the middle of quarantine, or not quarantine. We've just had inauguration. And so this is why you haven't seen me earlier this week, because it's been a very busy week for the country, for the city. I'm here in Washington, D.C. If you don't know me by now, my name is Emma G. I am a singer, songwriter, youth empowerment coach using music as my superpower to help young people thrive and develop and become their best selves through the art of songwriting. I've also written a book called My Life, My Songs, My Healing. And tonight we are joined by none other than the goddess herself, the goddess in training, I should say, because she's 17, but she certainly has all of the superpowers worthy of a goddess, Sydney Witt. How are you, my love?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Happy inauguration.
Happy inauguration.
Seriously, you've been, as a human being who was born and raised in the DMV area, you have been, so involved in this year's election. How are you feeling? How are things?
I'm so excited. Obviously this is the fourth president in my lifetime, third one that I can remember. Yeah, no, it's really exciting. This was the last election that I wasn't legally allowed to vote in, so that's also kind of cool.
Yay, voting! Rah!
Voting. If you did go vote, congratulations. Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I obviously grew up going on field trips every year to the Capitol and the White House, so it's really dope. Yeah.
That's cool. That's real cool. So tell me who you are. I know you because you have been one of my wonderful humans that I've been able to work with and help coach through the writing of your album. But for those who don't know who Sydney Witt is, who are you?
Geez, okay. I don't really know that answer to that question yet, honestly.
Does anybody really ever? Let's be real.
Well, I guess I'm a student. I'm a songwriter. I'm a singer. I'm a friend, and I'm a daughter, I guess. I don't know how to answer that question, honestly. It's really deep.
Tell me your favorite color.
Favorite color? Again, no answer. Purple? Rainbow? I don't know.
Yeah. Rainbow, I feel, is an accurate description. Cool. And so you've been writing songs for just over a year now. And tell me, what was it that drew you to wanting to write songs?
Well, I've been writing poetry my whole life, from a really young age. But I never really had the tools or the ability to put words to music. And so yeah, I don't know, but I've always really been interested in music. I used to be a dancer. I used to choreograph.
That's cool. What kind of music? What kind of dancing?
Oh, so I was a student at the Washington School of Ballet until I was about 12, and I had to quit because of a knee injury, but that's not relevant. Yeah, so ballet, I used to choreograph. I would memorize the whole Nutcracker. I was in it for 6 years, I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was the Sugar Plum Fairy, just BT dubs.
That's really sweet. Yeah. Yeah, so I was into dance, and then when I couldn't dance anymore, obviously I was missing that part of me that had something to do with anything to do with music. And so I kind of latched on to things like musical theater. And then, I decided one day that music was my true passion, no matter how it was, however I did it or whatever I did. But it had to be something to do with music. And so I decided I wanted to learn how to write music because I already was writing words to go with it. So I found Emma, and she basically taught me everything that I know. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. And it's been, a pleasure to work with you. And, I'm so excited for your upcoming album. You've been working really hard over the last year about, to sort of hone in on your messages and figure out who Sydney Witt is and communicate that with the rest of the world while empowering other young people. But today we're talking about your song Intrusive. Can you tell me, or tell the world, I guess, what was the songwriting process? What's the inspiration behind Intrusive?
So intrusive is basically about all the intrusive thoughts and anxiety that we all have, especially when it comes to like the way that we feel others perceive us. And it honestly, the inspiration was like every like little things that happen that you might perceive as embarrassing, and you overthink it and you think about it over and over and over and again in your head, and it continually becomes worse, and it just gives you anxiety. But in reality, like other people don't see it that way. They're not embarrassed. But it's about those intrusive thoughts that keep you up at night. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I feel like we can all relate to that, right? Like, I still sometimes have nightmares from from experiences of like 16 years ago, that one time that I think, real talk, I distinctly remember I was 16, so this was about 16 years ago. That makes me feel old. But I remember pulling up with my mom in this small town in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand, but there were this like group of young dudes who were relatively good looking kind of fellas. And my mom decided, she saw the look on my face, and so she got out of the car, got down on all fours, and started like jumping around like a frog, just to like mess with me a little bit. And that was mortifying for me, because when you're 16, you're too cool for school, and that shit don't fly. So like, is that the kind of experiences you're talking about, or are we talking about more, tell me more?
Yeah, well, the song was born from the idea of those like more so like little things, like little embarrassing things that happen, but it kind of morphed into something a lot deeper than that as I went through the writing process. And it became more about, those little things, but how much they morph and become like so much bigger in our heads than they are in reality. So yeah,
no, totally. I feel that. So when it comes to this particular song, was there like a breakthrough that you had? Like, were you able to kind of start letting go of I don't know, like you always have that like internal angel and devil in your shoulder, right? And you've always got this like you're the middle person kind of struggling with, okay, should I lean into this anxiety, or should I just pull on my big girl panties and harden the F up? Sometimes songwriting can be, can sort of answer that for you. Did you have something like that?
Yes. So obviously the songwriting process is always like super therapeutic, and that's the whole reason why I got into writing poetry in the first place.
Right.
But it for this song in particular, it really helped me like realize now whenever I have one of those like intrusive thoughts, it still bothers me and it's still anxiety inducing, but I'm able to like take a step back and realize, wait a minute, like this, and see it for what it is. It's an intrusive thought. It's anxiety, and it's not based in reality most of the time. And although I still have those moments where it does get to me, it's helped me like realize a lot through the process of writing. It requires a lot of self-reflection, and it's helped me realize a lot of the things that I worry about aren't worth anxiety over.
So have you felt personally now that you're at a place where you can better work through your anxiety just because of songwriting?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm so glad. I mean, that was always my hope, because that's what has helped me to do, but that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Have you, sorry.
Sorry. Oh, well, I've always like struggled with anxiety, as I'm sure so many like young people do. But no, yeah, definitely. It's really, really helped me a lot, obviously along with therapy and stuff. But yeah, I feel like songwriting is some sort of therapy.
That's cool. That's really cool. Have you like had a chance to, I mean, given that you started writing while the pandemic had just sort of become a thing, has there been like, have you had the opportunity to share your music yet with your peers, with your audience, with your fans? Like, how are your people receiving your music? Are they?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know, because obviously my friends aren't going to tell me that, oh, it sucks, I don't like it. But my friends have been like really supportive, and obviously I love them all really a lot. They've told me they like it, so that's good. As far as my peers and people that I maybe see as like more of acquaintances, I don't really know. I've shared my music on social media and stuff, but not being able to see those people like every day in school, it's more like you don't really. I like haven't seen most of my classmates since March of this last year, and yeah. So I don't know how people that aren't my friends and immediate family are receiving it, but I hope that it's good. So yeah.
I'm sure it is. I mean, not to be biased or anything, but what you and Flightboy Music have created together has been incredible. I've listening to the full album, which isn't out yet, but listening to the full album, there's like, and you're too young to understand maybe these similarities, but I feel undertones of like Garbage mixed with, or maybe you do know who Garbage is, I don't know, mixed with like Demi Lovato even, and there's just all kinds of funky tones going on. So have they told you anybody that you like that they feel you're
Yeah.
similar to?
I always get really different ones too, which is interesting. Like I
Okay.
don't think I've heard like the same artist from the same person. I've gotten Avril Lavigne, I've gotten Megan Trainor, I've gotten Lorde, I've gotten Ariana Grande, I've gotten who
I
else?
would I would agree with all of those. Your voice,
Yeah.
your range is super high, like Ariana Grande, and Lorde, definitely the similar vibe. Sorry, carry on. Didn't mean to
Sorry,
interrupt.
yeah. So I don't know, like a bunch. I've gotten Paramore, but I'm obviously always flattered by that. They're like my favorite. Um, so yeah, that's really cool. And I really one of my biggest things is when I started writing music, I had like absolutely no idea what kind of like genre or like type of music that I wanted to pursue. And I thought like, oh, you have to like to be a musician, you have to like fit one role and you have to like fit one sound. And I realized recently that I don't want to be that, like I want to have music that's more like danceable, like electronic Lady Gaga sort of upbeat, inspirational kind of stuff. But I also want to have that more like early 2000s like punk rock Avril Lavigne kind of skater boy rock vibes. And I think I don't have to pick one, like I one of my biggest one person that I look up to a lot, Charlie XCX, talks about how she gets asked all the time like what's your genre, because all of her music, all of her albums are so different and so
Right.
like experimental, and that she's like music isn't about categories, it's about self-expression. And I think that is such a powerful outlook on it. And I really agree with her. So for my college applications for music school, a lot of them asked me like what kind of music I make and what kind of genre I am. So I had to say something like, I said experimental pop, because I guess that's what it is if you went as far as to name it with a label. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, completely right. I feel like, if nothing else, the last couple of years have really shown us the validity and the value of breaking the boxes, right? Like the only way we're going to survive is together, and the only way we're going to thrive is by honoring that diversity and the uniqueness of not just the collective, but also within us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things that you really exemplify in your entire album, let alone in Intrusive, because your image, it's almost like this playfulness between sweet and innocent, yet kind of like try to mess with me.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so but you're like with the lyrics behind Intrusive Thoughts, I don't know, they sort of make me think of your defiance and but also kind of open to being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am
definitely.
I on the money here, or is
Yeah.
there something
Yeah.
else that you kind of want to
No,
add to
yeah.
that?
No, I agree. I think I mean, obviously I have so many inspirations, like so many powerful and important women in music, and obviously they're all music is super different, and I listen to so much different stuff that I feel like, yeah, it's definitely important to have, like, that's why I feel like all my songs sound so different. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, Intrusive is absolutely nothing like 17, which is nothing like Mr. President. And I pride myself on the fact that none of my songs sound the same, because I think that that's really important. I don't want to be like a songwriting factory. I want to, create stuff that's individual and unique and stuff I actually really like. And so that's why the album is taking so long, because I've changed my mind a lot about what certain songs I want to sound like, and how I want to, have them be perceived as. So,
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that you bringing up 17 and Mr. President, because they are very different in terms of the sound and in terms of the subject matter. Like 17 and quarantine, being about turning 7, because you turned 17 while you were in quarantine, and it was a weird experience, right?
yeah, yeah. And the song was actually my mom's idea. Shout out to you, Mom. But
Yay,
she
mom!
was like, she was like, oh, what's so funny? You're a teen in quarantine and you're 17. And I was like, oh my God, Mom. But she was like, what, you should write a song about it, because I'm sure there are like thousands of young girls turning 17, 16, whatever, in quarantine, and it sucks not being able to celebrate that and to be with your friends. And I was thinking a lot about also how like my last semester of high school, I don't get to spend with my friends. I have to spend with them behind a computer, and before we all go our separate ways to college. And all of my friends are obviously super smart, and they all have like stuff planned. One of my friends is going to uh, cosmetology school. Another one's going to fashion school in New York City. And I have a bunch of friends going to Ivy Leagues, which is really, really cool. And I'm super excited for them. But my point is that we're all going in really different directions. So it sucks that my last 6 months with them, I don't actually get to spend with them. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you contradict that with, the rawness of Mr. President, which came out just before the election, which again is a very different flavor to Intrusive. How is that? How are you feeling about that sort
So,
of different?
yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's no secret that I really dislike former President Donald Trump, and everything that he stands for. Um, but so I basically I wanted to write a song that really expressed how I felt about him in a way that was like honest. Because honestly, like, he's been the president. Donald Trump was the president throughout my entire teenage years. He was elected when I was 13. So,
Oh wow,
yeah.
that's that. I didn't even think of that.
So
Yes.
I
Okay.
basically built my entire political ideology around the fact that this was the man in office, and I did not like that. And I learned so much from him being in office about myself and what I believe and what I stand for. Um, and that's the only thing that I have to say that's good about him. But yeah, so I thanks to him, I definitely learned how important words are, and how important leadership is.
For sure. What about your relationship between the relationship sorry, forgive me. The relationship between music and, I'm not going to say, I don't want to say politics. I want to say like humanity or human rights or
Mhm.
uh yeah, social issues. What
Yeah.
does that look like for you
Um,
as a
I
young
think
person?
I think representation in music, as well as empowerment through music, are two of the most important things, because I feel like it's so important for a young girl to be able to hear a song that's about loving yourself and
Mm,
say, oh, if she loves herself, so can I. And just as it's important for representation, like, say, a young Black girl to see a powerful Black woman who is making music and doing her thing and living her life like without question. And I think it's so important that people see people that are like them in media,
mm.
and especially in music, because I think it's really powerful, and it sends a really positive message to those young people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you bring up, the importance of representation when it comes to color, as well as, around body image issues. As a light and brighter, which is what I refer to as my white ally friends, how do you show up in those spaces as a
Well,
musician?
I think that it's really, really important to give space to those voices of color because as a white person, a lot of the time, with like white privilege, a lot of the time it's easy to not see the problem, and I think ignoring it is part of the problem. Um, it makes the problem worse, obviously. I feel like either like you can't just be um, you can't be complicit and you can't be just, oh, I don't pick a side when it comes to racism, because you're either racist or you're actively not racist. And I think it's really important to to have an awareness about the importance of those voices of color.
I love that. I love that. One more question before we go to the lyrics of Intrusive. I want to kind of get an idea from you about what are your next steps? You're obviously going to college soon, maybe this year in quarantine, maybe maybe you will take a gap year and explore more of your music career and things like that. But is there anything else that, like, as a young artist, as a young developing artist who's literally on the picket lines of the Black Lives Matter protests and is writing music about self-love and empowerment, what can we expect next from you?
So first, obviously, the album that I've already written, but I plan on really honing my craft, like either going to music school to just really like learn and become better at what I do, because I've only been doing this for a year, and no one's like perfect, and I do really enjoy the process of learning. So probably that. If I'm planning on, if quarantine is still a thing in September, I plan on taking a gap year and focusing on my music. So maybe there'll be a second album then. But I don't know. Yeah. Well, it's all up to fate. There's so many like things that could happen.
That's so exciting. Plan for the worst, hope for the best.
Right.
Right. And the best is definitely something that you succeed at, because the music you're making, Sydney, I'm so proud of you. You're doing such a phenomenal job, and you're such a great voice of your generation. It's been an honor to work with you, and I'm so excited to share your song. Do you want to go over your lyrics quickly before we share this piece of music? Okay, cool. Go ahead. Tell us the lyrics of Intrusive.
Intrusive. I might have to look at it because it's been a while. Hold on. So I don't know, say something.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is Sydney Witt. Sydney Witt is, she came to me when she was just about to turn 17 to write her own album, which has been a phenomenal experience for her and for me, as we've seen her grow and develop more into her ideals and beliefs, and become super unapologetic about how dope she is, basically, and how she wants to represent herself in the world, and how she wants to, I'm talking about you like you're in third person, you're right here, but how you show up in the world and how you want to lead the change and be the change. So Intrusive is a great song for even 32-year-old me, as I still to this day battle with those inner demons and those inner guilts and that inner shame of like, oh, I should have done this differently, or I could have done that better, or I could have, should have, would have, and that doesn't serve us, right? So being able to learn from, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about these new teaching online platforms, is that it's really opened a space for mentors and coaches like myself to not just impart knowledge onto young people, but also to learn from young people. And Sydney, you've taught me so much, about music, about modern music, about just how powerful a voice can be, even in America. I grew up in New Zealand. It's, it's a smaller country. It's easier to stand out. Here, you're standing up unapologetically in front of the White House and saying, enough's enough, or in front of, your peers, of millions of peers across the country, saying, I love myself. And I think that's beautiful. To be able to do that in song is just, you're a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. Was that enough to say?
Yeah, I got the lyrics here. So do you want me to read them out?
Awesome.
One verse at a time.
Okay. Here we go.
The first verse is mud face, hard rain. Looks like I'm falling over again. Fighting dust, this sucks. Embarrassed this has happened again. So that's basically, I was, that's a true story. I was walking with my friend to the school play. It was like a couple years ago. It was dark outside and it was raining, and it was really muddy. And there were a lot of people there, and I slipped and I fell and I got mud all down the side of my pants. And it was really embarrassing. But now thinking back on it, like nobody else cared. Like it wasn't something that they remembered or thought, oh wow, that's so embarrassing for her. Because I know that like if someone fell in front of me, I wouldn't think that. But at the time, it was something that I replayed over and over and over again in my head, and every time I did, it kept getting worse. So yeah. And then it goes into the pre-chorus, which is think of the words in my head. Can we forget what I said? And it's again basically talking about how the words that replay again and again in your head, they're annoying and you want them to go away because it doesn't make you feel good. That feeling of embarrassment and all that. So yeah, should I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. So the chorus is, leave me alone. I'm trying to vibe here. The past is already gone. Why you have to remind me? And that repeats. And I thought I'm trying to vibe here was really funny, so I kept it. It just, I think it adds like a little bit of a lighter kind of thing to the song. It's like a little bit of like irony, like I'm trying to just like live my life, and these intrusive thoughts keep bothering me. So like basically that part of the song is me talking to those intrusive thoughts and asking them to like leave me alone. So yeah.
I dig it. Second verse.
No thoughts, just words. Here I go. I've done it again. Red cheeks, heartbeats, embarrassed this has happened again. So this is again just like talking about how like when you do something that's that embarrassing and you're like, oh my god, like I'm so stupid, like how could I like do something like that? And that's an intrusive thought, because I mean falling over doesn't make you stupid. It's like it happens to the best of us. And so yeah, there's that.
Cool. Awesome. And what about the bridge?
The bridge.
What is a bridge? Can you explain a bridge to me?
A bridge is basically like a third verse that you put into like the end of the song before the last chorus, and it's like it's just a different structure than the two verses, so it's just like a little bit different. Some people may have like a coda, which is like just a completely different thing from the rest of the song, but I tend to try and stick with the similar themes, similar vibe. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, what do you got?
I'm sick of the intrusive thoughts. Don't want to think about yesterday. I'm through with being haunted with embarrassment. I want to push it all away. So
you're such a badass. No, I love it. And on that note, let's have an actual listen to Intrusive Thoughts from Sydney Witt, and of course the dope music video that took a day to film?
A day, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, here we go.
Mud face, hard rain. Looks like I'm falling
You're incredible.
That was sneaky.
That was sneaky? Why was that sneaky?
That's the first time I've watched the video.
Whatever?
Ever.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. You tricked me into watching my video.
Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to. I didn't realize that's hilarious. I'm so
I know. I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to like watch it and like not like it and then be like, it's hard to explain, but I don't like watching myself.
I relate to that. I was the same way when I was your age, when it came to anything that that's cool. But I hope you liked it.
It was good, yeah. Like did a really good job, yeah.
I did not realize you'd ever seen it before. That's amazing. Okay. Well, there we go. You're dope. The world needs more of your magic. Can't wait for your album. So proud of you. So thrilled and humbled to have been able to be part of your songwriting process and your development process as an artist. You're a powerhouse, Sydney. I'm very, very, very proud of you. And of course, where can people get in touch with you if they want to hear more of your music or buy your album or watch your videos?
Everything is on my 2 Instagram accounts, Sydney Witt and Sydney Wittstock. That's my full name. And
Sydney Witt official.
Sydney Witt official, yeah.
Right. Okay.
And Sydney Wittstock is my main account.
Okay.
So everything's on there. Yeah, and my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Sydney Witt, yeah.
And you have a website?
I do. SydneyWitt.com.
Cool. SydneyWitt.com. Okay, and that's Sydney as in the city, and then Witt, W-I-T-T?
Yep.
Right. Awesome. Okay. So yes, please make sure that you reach out to Sydney and watch all of her music videos. She's got another one, 17. Her song, Mr. President, is on Spotify. She's got an album coming out sometime, but of course you're going to have to keep an eye out on the website in order to find out when, which is exciting. I'm super pumped. And of course, if you are interested in learning how to write your own music, feel free to reach out to me, workwithemmag.com, or grab a copy of my book at emmagmusic.com. In the meantime, be good, be kind, spread love like it's going out of fashion, be your own kind of superhero, and don't forget to vote, because clearly, y'all, love is the answer, and we are living proof that